Good evening. So today's topic is Rise of Islam. Okay, let's start it. So in 6th century, Arab culture was largely confined to the Arabian Peninsula and areas of Mesopotamia and southern Syria. That time, southern Syria consists of modern-day Syria, Lebanon, Jordan, and Palestine. Okay, Arabs were divided into tribes or kabilas, each led by chief who was chosen partly on the basis of the family connections, but more on for his personal courage, wisdom, and generosity. So each tribe will have their own god and goddesses who will be worshipped in idol form in a shrine. Okay, so many of these tribes are nomadic who will move from dry to green region areas in search of food and fodder. One such tribe was Bedouin, Baduin, Bedouin or Bedu. They were nomadic Arab tribes who have been historically inhabited in the desert regions in the Levant, Arabian Peninsula, and Upper Mesopotamia and North Africa. So the present day Ghana, you can say, West Asia, North Africa. The this word means desert dwellers. Bedouin means desert dwellers. So they were like nomadic tribes. Some tribes were also settled in cities and they practiced trade and culture. One such tribe was Quraysh tribe. It was Muhammad's own tribe. They lived in Makkah and they controlled the main shrine there called Kaaba. It was a cube-like structure in which many idols were placed. Okay. Muhammad was an Arab by language and culture and he was a merchant by profession. So even tribes who were outside Makkah, they consider the Kaaba very holy place and they install their own idols in the shrine. Okay. And they will make annual pilgrimage to the shrine. And where Makkah was located on the crossroads of a trade route between Yemen and Syria. So that's why this city was important. It was on famous trade route. Yemen is in south of Arabian Peninsula and Syria is north part of Arabian Peninsula and Makkah was situated on that trade route. So tribes and people from outside were coming to that Makkan shrine. In that shrine area, violence was forbidden and protection given to all visitors. So people were coming for pilgrimage, and due to these two reasons, the pilgrimage and commerce, because it was on trade route, these two regions gave the opportunity to nomadic tribes who were coming from outside and settled tribes the opportunity to communicate with one another and share their beliefs and customs. Okay. So in around 612 CE, Muhammad declared himself to be the messenger of God, and they call it Rasul. Okay, and who had been commanded to preach that Allah alone should be worshipped. Okay, so in his lifetime between 612 to 632, Prophet Muhammad preached the worship of single God Allah. Okay, and the membership of single community of believers, also called Ummah. Okay. This was the origin of Islam. The worship involved simple rituals like daily prayers, distributing alms, abstaining from theft. That after some time to consolidate, Prophet refined the rituals. He included fast and all these things. So Muhammad's message, particularly, he preached worship of a single God. Okay, his message appealed to those Makkan people who were felt deprived of the gains from trade and religion and they were looking for a new community identity. Okay, so those who accepted the doctrine of Prophet Muhammad, they were called Muslims. Okay, they were promised salvation on the day of judgment and a share of the resources of the community while they are on earth. But these Muslims soon faced considerable opposition from affluent Makkans because affluent Makkans, they took this new religion as a threat to their status and prosperity. Okay, so in 622 CE, Prophet Muhammad, along with his followers, forced to migrate from Makkah to Medina. Medina is in north of Makkah. Okay, so this Prophet Muhammad's journey from Makkah to Medina is very turning point in history of Islam because from this date starts the Islamic calendar. It is called Hijra era. Okay. Now, if some religion has to survive, then it depends on survival of the community of believers. Okay, and community has to be consolidated internally and also should be protected from external threats. So to do this consolidation protection, you require political institutions such as states or government, which either you may inherit or you can borrow from outside or you can create from scratch. Okay, so this to consolidate it, this ummah community of believers was converted into a wider community to include polytheists and to include the Jews of Medina under the political leadership of Muhammad. So Prophet Muhammad consolidated the faith of his followers um, by this way. So till now this community was surviving on agriculture and trade as well as on one tax called zakat. Okay. So now to get more resources, Muslims started organizing expeditionary raids on Makkan caravans. Okay, they started looting them, and after a series of battles, Makkah was conquered, and Prophet Muhammad's reputation as a religious preacher and political leader spread far and wide. Okay, so the conditions in desert are harsh. So people who lives in desert, they attach great value to strength and solidarity. So the Bedouins living there, they got impressed by Prophet's achievement, and many tribes they joined the community by converting to Islam. Okay, then Prophet made Medina the administrative capital, Makkah the religious center of the rising Islamic state. Okay, and in short space of time, Prophet Muhammad was able to unite a large part of Arabia under a new faith, new community, and new state. Now we'll talk. You can see this map. Uh, this green part is like expansion of Islam under Prophet Muhammad's rule. Okay, and again after that, it is spread in this complete area. We'll talk later. Okay, this is northern Syrian part. You can see this is Yemen, this is Makkah, this is a total trade route of joining Yemen and this Syria. Okay, and since then this area is like Islam dominated area. Caliphate. What was Caliphate? So after death of Prophet Muhammad in 632 came the question of that succession, because there was no established principle of succession. Who will succeed the Prophet? So the political power was transferred to Ummah. Ummah was community of believers. Okay, so they invented a new institution called Caliphate, in which the leader of the community became the deputy to the Prophet. Deputy means Khalifa to the Prophet. Okay, they called Khalifa or Caliph. Caliph means deputy to the Prophet. Okay, so initially four caliphs they are called Rashidun Caliph. Rashidun Caliphs. Okay, first is Abu Bakr, second Umar, third Uthman, fourth Ali. Okay, these guys justified their power on the basis of their close association with the Prophet. They were all closely associated with Prophet, and they continued their work under the general guidelines he had provided. So Abu Bakr was caliph for 2 years. After that he died of illness. So Abu Bakr was companion and senior companion with Prophet, and his daughter Aisha married to Prophet. Okay, so he was father-in-law of Prophet also. He was first Rashidun Caliphate. He was a very rich and respected businessman. He gave money. He gave significant amount of money to support the Prophet's cause, and he migrated to Medina with Prophet, and he was present in a number of military battles with Prophet. Okay, so this first Rashidun Caliph, Abu Bakr, he overcame a number of uprisings. He consolidated and expanded the rule of Muslim state over the entire Arabian Peninsula, and also he started initial attacks on the neighboring Sasanian and Byzantine empires. Sasanian were Iranian Empire and Byzantine were Eastern Roman Empire. Okay. After that, Umar took over in 634. He was also a senior companion of the Prophet, and he expanded at an unprecedented rate. He conquered this Persia in less than 2 years. Then he took two-third area of Byzantine Empire. Okay. But in 644, he was eventually killed by a Persian. Okay. After that, Uthman was from same Quraysh tribe of Makkah. He took over. What he did, he packed his administrator with his own men to secure greater control on admin. But this intensified the Meccan character of the state. Okay, and the conflict started with other tribes. So opposition came from Iraq and Egypt area and from Medina. Okay, this led to the assassination of Uthman. So after assassination of Uthman, Ali took over. Who was Ali? Ali was the cousin and son-in-law of Prophet Muhammad. Okay. He was first male who accepted Islam under Muhammad's watch. Okay. He protected Muhammad from an early age. He took part in almost all the battles fought by the initial Muslim community. After migrating to Medina, he married Muhammad's youngest daughter Fatima. Okay. And he took over as fourth caliph. Sunnis call him fourth Rashidun Caliph, while Shia call him first caliph and Imam. So what is Shia and Sunni thing? I will let you know in next slides. And Shia Muslims believe that Ali and other Shia Imams, they all all of whom are from house of Muhammad. They are the rightful successor of the Muhammad. Okay. So what happened when Ali took over? The rift among the Muslims deepened. Okay, he had to fought two battles. So first battle was fought in was Battle of Camel in 657. In this battle, his army fought with army of Prophet's wife Aisha. If you remember, Aisha was the daughter of first Caliph Abu Bakr. In that, he defeated the army of Aisha. But in second battle was with whom? There was a governor Muawiyah. Governor Muawiyah, he was the cousin of third Caliph Uthman, and he was the governor of that time Syria. That included modern day Syria, Lebanon, Jordan, Palestine. Okay, this second battle took over Siffin. Both armies were in front of each other for more than 100 days, but there were some negotiations. Then there was a truce. Okay, this ended in a truce. This Ali had truce with the Muawiyah. But due to this truce, many people they this truce splitted the followers of Ali in two groups. Some remained loyal to him while other left the camp and they came to known as Kharjis. Kharjis. Okay. So when he was in a mosque, when this Ali was praying in a mosque in his capital Kufa, Kufa, he was assassinated by a one Kharji. Okay. So after his death, his followers paid allegiance to his son Hussein. Okay. Who was Hussein? Hussein was the grandson of Prophet. Why? Because Ali married with Fatima, who was daughter of Prophet. So this Hussein was the grandson of Prophet. So Muawiyah did a treaty with Hussein, and that Hussein Muawiyah treaty was in that Hussein ceded the caliphate to Muawiyah, but asked Muawiyah that he will not name his successor during his reign. Instead, he was to let the Islamic world choose his successor. Okay, Muawiyah agreed on this, but before dying, Muawiyah uh, announced his successor. His son was Yazid. YAZID. He announced that Yazid will succeed me and he convinced people around him. So this was the breach of trust. So uh, when Yazid took over, he asked uh, Hussein and his followers to pledge allegiance to him. But uh, Hussein denied. So Hussein had to leave his hometown, Medina, and he went to take refuge in Makkah. So at that time, people of Kufa was the capital of Ali, his father's capital. They sent letters to Hussein asking his help and like pledging their allegiance to him. So he traveled to Kufa. So he was traveling with around 70 of his relatives and family members and followers. But Yazid's army they intercepted him near Karbala, plains of Karbala. Karbala is a place, and he was again asked to pledge allegiance to Yazid. He resisted, so Hussein was killed. His 6-month-old son Ali al-Asghar was killed. Women and children was taken as prisoners. Okay, so this is this annually is commemorated as this battle of Karbala is like annual commemoration of this battle is done by Shias. Okay, during Muharram. Okay, Muharram is the first month of Islamic calendar, and the day when he was martyred, the 10th day of Muharram, is known as Ashura. Asura. Okay, so those Muslims who follow Hussein and Ali, they are called Shia, and the others are called Sunni. Okay, so this timing of Hussein's life and death were very crucial. The anger at Hussein's death was turned into a rallying cry that helped to undermine the Umayyad Caliphate. This Muwayya, he started Umayyad Caliphate. Okay, we'll see. Let's see this map. This is expansion under Prophet. Then 632 to 661 Umayyad Caliphate. Then this area came under this Muslim domination. Then came this dynasty, another initial is this Rashidun Caliphate, then is Umayyad 661 to 650. So this whole area came under Muslim domination. So Mubayya, he was governor of Syria. He started this Umayyad dynasty. Okay, he declared his son to be his successor. So he introduced hereditary system. Before that, it was not there. So this Umayyad dynasty, they ruled for 90 years. Okay, they appealed for unity and suppressed rebellion in the name of Islam. So now you understand what is Shia and what is Sunni. Those who follow Hussein and Ali, they are Shia, and remaining are Sunni. Okay. You can see the spread of Islam between 632 when Prophet died and between 750 when this Umayyad dynasty ended. Okay, this is expansion under Prophet between 622 632. Then came the Rashidun Caliphate, four Rashidun Caliphate between 632 661. They spread here, and then this remaining thing under Umayyad Caliphate in this 90 years. Okay. Now, what is Abbasid revolution? We'll see. So, what happened? These I told you there was first conflict between Shia and Sunni under this Umayyad dynasty. Then there was one well-organized movement called Dawa. Okay, that this movement brought down the Umayyads and replaced with them another family of Makkan origin called Abbasid. Okay, so Abbasid, what is Abbasid? Abbasid means descendants of Abbas. And who was he? He was Prophet's uncle. Okay. So they mustered support of various dissident groups and legitimized their bid for power, promising that one Messiah from the family of the Prophet would liberate from this oppressive Umayyad regime. Okay. So they Abbasid they portrayed this Umayyad regime as evil and promised a restoration of original Islam of Prophet. Okay. So this Umayyad uprising is broke out in distant region of Khorasan, that is present day eastern Iran. Okay. This area was having mixed Arab-Iranian population, and the Arab soldiers here were mostly from Iraq, and they resented the dominance of the Syrians. You know, this Mubayya was the Syrian governor, and he was like, his capital was Damascus. Damascus. Okay. Ali's capital was Kufa. Then this Umayyad dynasty was ruling from Damascus. So now these guys from Khorasan, they hated this domination of Syrians. Okay. This Umayyad dynasty. So all these people they came together and they threw out this Umayyad dynasty. Okay. Under Abbasid rule, Arab influence declined while the importance of Iranian culture increased. Okay. And they established their capital at Baghdad. Okay. So now they shifted capital to Baghdad and they reorganized army and bureaucracy on non-tribal basis so that they could ensure greater participation of Iraq and Khorasan. Okay. Now, rise of sultanates and breakup of caliphate. Okay, what happened? Abbasid state became very weaker from the 9th century onwards because Baghdad's control over the distant provinces declined and because of conflict between pro-Arab and pro-Iranian. These Abbasids were pro-Iranian. Okay, this conflict started in army and bureaucracy. In 810, one civil war broke out between supporters of Amin and Mamun. Supporters of Amin and Mamun. Who were they? They were sons of the Caliph Harun al-Rashid. Okay, and that this deepened the factionalism and this second civil war of Muslim community started. First started at the time of Ali and Hussein. This is second. Okay. So now new power block of Turkish slave officers came. Turkish slave officers. They were called Mamluk. Okay. Again, this was the like struggle for power between Shia and Sunnis. Okay. A number of minor dynasty also arose in that in which Tahirids and Samanids they came in Khurasan and in Transoxiana. Transoxiana is the lands beyond the Oxus River, and Tulnids in Egypt and Syria. Okay, so Abbasid power soon became limited to central Iraq and western Iran only. That too was lost in 945 when one Buyid, they who were Buyid? Buyid were Shia clan from the Caspian region of Iran. They captured the Baghdad. The Buyid rulers assumed various titles like Shahenshah, okay, but they didn't took the title of Caliph. Rather, they kept Abbasid Caliph as the symbolic head of their Sunni subjects. Okay, this was very calculated move to prevent one another Shia branch from Egypt to take over. Okay, so between 950 and 1200, Islamic society was held together by single language, by common economic and cultural system. Okay, how this unity was maintained? It was maintained by three ways. One was separation between state and society. Second was Persian was developed as a language of Islamic high culture, and third was maturity of the dialogue between intellectual traditions. So scholars, artists, and merchants, they moved freely within the central Islamic lands. Okay. The Muslim population, which was less than 10% in Umayyad dynasty or in initial phase of Abbasid period, now increased enormously. Okay. Most important, the identity of Islam as a religion and a cultural system separate from other religions became much sharper. Okay, which made conversions possible and meaningful. Okay, this caliph system ruled in Baghdad until 1258 CE. After that, they shifted to Egypt and it ruled from Egypt until 1517 CE when Ottoman Empire took over Egypt and Ottoman Sultan, they took over the title of the this caliph. Okay, and this was abolished in 1924 CE when after World War One, Turkey was modernized by Ataturk. He abolished this caliph system. Okay, because this system, because Turkey was defeated and because of this defeat of this caliph system, one Khilafat movement happened in India also. But when Ataturk abolished this system in 1924, there was no logic for that Khilafat movement. Okay, so we will continue next slide. By that time, take care.